Hello, this video is going to be about remotely mounting BainUltra motor when you have Geysair on your bathtub. So again, it's not too complicated to do. I'll go through it with you. So normally you receive the tub, everything's connected like you see here. The wire, the low voltage wires, power cable for the Geysair. And so what we need to do is remove it, disconnect the wires, and bring it to our remote location. Remote location being an area where it's room temperature all year round, easy access to it. Also, it has to be ventilated, meaning that you need an opening of about 4 inches by 2 inches so that the air can be drawn, the motor can draw the air in and push it into the tub, into the loop that you see there, so it flows back into the tub. Again, easy access is really something you need to think of. And also, we'll talk about later in the video the wires that you have to probably extend, because sometimes they can be a little bit too short. So here we go. We'll start off by, if it's connected to your power source, you would disconnect it. If it's in Canada, well, you would disconnect your power source or your breaker. You would shut your breaker down and you would remove the hardwired wires. And you would start off by, disconnecting the power cable from the motor. Then your wires. This is the keypad wire. You just press on the clip, pull down, it comes down very easily like this, and put them down. And now you're just left with the motor, so you can simply use your 5/16 socket screwdriver, or a flathead would also work. And you unscrew it until it is loose. My screwdriver here, and there we got the motor. You have to put your hands underneath. As you saw, it comes down very easily once you've unscrewed it. So what we need to do now is, from this junction towards where you're going to put the motor, you will have to run an ABS, a PVC, or a Tiger Flex pipe towards it. So we'll get into that in this next section. All right, so now we're at the point where we want to connect an air line between the motor and the tub connection. So we have now a piece of 1.5 inch Tiger Flex pipe. You can use ABS, PVC, and use the same motor clamp here that we have to just insert the pipe like that. Put the screwdriver here. Push it in place like that. Screw it down again, staying, not over tightening that, just so that just a quarter turn like that, it holds in place. So now we're going to feed that back to our motor, which can normally be, it would be inside the house actually, not more than 15 feet away from your bathtub, easy to access, because we'll have to send more wires going back to that area. And I'll show you, because now we have an easy view of the Geysair. There is a power cable that you had to feed, or an extension I should say, because this was connected to the motor for its power. So we have an extension cable that can be bought, and you can see that it's the same plug. So this is a 15-foot cable, and so you just plug it in like this, and that will get fed back to the motor. This wire, just so you know, it's not rated to be buried underneath the floor or inside some walls. So what some people do is they cut this off and use junction boxes to extend their wire with the typical wire you would use for light switches and outlets, and just wire it internally inside if you don't have access to it afterwards. So that's one part of it. And also, we haven't spoken about this, but your Geysair has a hose connection like this. And this connects to a ball valve that looks like this. Has a 3/8 compression fitting. So this needs to be connected to your hot water as well. And you need access to this. Even though you're remotely mounting your motor, you still need to plan on having access to this valve. If there's any servicing that needs to be done, you need to be able to shut this off like this, and then you can do servicing, and we'll get to that in another video. So this is what, and imagine this would be your hot water line would be connected to that. Hello, so here we have our motor sitting on this table. You can imagine this is our remote location. This could be in a closet. It could be underneath the tub on the rafters. For people who have seen the other videos, I actually mentioned that this bracket can be used to mount it to something. So it could be on a 2x4, on your rafters. If it's on the floor directly, you want it to be at least 1.5 inches from the floor. So using a 2x4 could work well for that. So again, easy access to it is really a good thing. And now we have our airline here that's ran from the tub. So what's left to do is just push it in place, which is pretty easy. Just put it on the mouth of the motor like that. Just hold it. Tighten it with your 5/16 screwdriver. Don't overdo it. Just like that should be fine. And we also ran our Geysair extension cable. So we need to plug that in. I have it here. So the Geysair has a smaller plug like this. So you would plug your power cable to it. Mine is bent a little here. Here we go. Then it's plugged in. Now we can connect the keypad wire here, which is the orange one. Orange label on the motor. You just push the wire in, it clips in. There we go. And we also have on this tub chromotherapy lights. So this is the wire for it, the purple one. Push it in. Here we go. And now you're left to plug in your power cable into your GFI protected 20 amp line, and in Canada you would rewire it inside the junction box, turn your breaker on, and you're ready to go. Okay, so here's a better view of the connections with the Geysair installation. So again, our power is all connected, our airline is connected. So this is the keypad wire here, so we can get a better view. You just push it in, like that. It's only one way it can go in. Actually, the tab faces away from the motor, so push it down like that, plug it in, there we go. So now that was the keypad and the chromotherapy option. If you reinstall your motor remotely and you have the chromotherapy option, you have to mount the blue box here in the same area as the motor, so you can have access to everything. So what we did here is we ran our LED lights back to the motor. You have about 20 feet of wire, about 17 usable. So we also have extensions for those, and for the keypad and the infrared that we don't have here today would also have an extension. Normally from the factory it comes with a 15-foot cable, infrared as well, and again you can get extensions for that. So what we're left here to do now is the communication wire for the blue box. So we have pins here, we plug it in, the wires facing down like that. And here are our two LED wires. You can use any of these gray pigtails. Some tubs have 2, some have 3. So you'll be left with 1 if you only have 2. Perfectly fine like that. And what you'll also have to think of is that with the Geysair, as soon as you have a Geysair on your bathtub, your motor needs to be connected alone on a 20 amp line with the GFI protected outlet or breaker. All your other options, for instance, here we only have the Chroma, but if let's say you have a Roma Cloud as well, or a heated backrest, you would connect all those options, or just one of them, on the 15 amp line. So you actually have to run a 15 amp line and a 20 amp line to your remote location. So now what we're left to do is plug them in. So in the US, again, you would plug those into your outlet. And if you're in Canada, you would hardwire them. So that concludes the remote installation of the parts when you have a Geysair equipped bathtub. This concludes this video of how to reinstall your motor with a bathtub that has the Geysair option. So if you have any more questions, feel free to give us a call at 1-888-763-4444. It'll be our pleasure to help you out.